Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Cate Wolff, and that's Bodhi, and I teach Easy Does It Yoga at Berkshire Yoga Dance and Fitness. And I am coming to you on this recording from my home in Pittsfield. So welcome. This is a class in which we use both our mats and the ballet bar at the studio to stretch and strengthen our bodies. And we're going to begin on the mat today, and then I will move into my kitchen because I don't have a ballet bar in my house. So thank you for joining me. So when you're ready, you can just find yourself a comfortable position. You can be sitting in a chair right now. You don't have to be on your mat, but you can be sitting in a chair. You can have your legs crossed or in whatever comfortable position works for you. And if you'd like, you could take a moment to close your eyes or look down at your mat or your hands and just fully arrive here in this moment. Yeah, just allowing yourself to follow the natural rhythm of your breath. There's nothing special you have to do with your breathing. Just following its natural rhythm and allowing it to help you connect to the present moment, to right here, right now, what's happening in this moment. You can maybe soften your belly a little bit to just receive your inhalation and then following the breath as it leaves the body and comes out your nose or mouth. So maybe taking 2 or 3 more conscious deep breaths. Letting the breath come in and letting it leave the body as your mind and body come into one moment. Okay. So when you're ready, excuse me, I have a little cough coming. You could bring your feet up onto your mat so that they're mat width apart. Hands are on the floor behind you. And everything is an invitation here, so don't do anything that doesn't feel right to your body. And you can make adjustments. So if it works for you, flopping the legs from side to side. And then once they're to the left, just allowing them to be there and coming up a little bit onto your seat a little bit further, and then sweeping the right arm around behind you. And if it's possible for you to come down onto your forearms, coming down onto your forearms. And you could experiment with looking over your left shoulder and notice if that offers you a little bit more of a twist here. Allowing the belly to be soft, to receive the breath. Taking another moment or two here. And then coming back to the palms of your hands and sweeping the right arm back around behind you, flopping the legs a couple of times more. And then dropping them to the right, lifting the left arm around, walking it around behind you and coming down onto your forearms. And consider looking over your right shoulder, See if that offers you any more twist or sensation. And maybe deepening your breath a couple of times, nice long deep breaths to just release any tension you feel in this position. And then when you're ready, coming back to the palms of the hands, sweeping the arm around and bringing yourself back to a seated position. And from here, taking the soles of the feet, drawing them together, maybe scooting a little bit towards your heels if that feels right to you. And then imagine pressing the knees down to either side and lifting through the crown of the head. Breathing. And then consider hinging forward. So you can decide how much you want to come forward. The body will just naturally stop you. And maybe tucking your chin. Feel free to tuck your chin in here. Rounding the shoulders forward. Taking another moment or two to breathe, relaxing the neck and the shoulders. And then when you feel ready, lifting away and scooting your feet out as far as they can go with the soles still facing one another. And then one more time, holding forward over the space in front of you. Taking a moment to breathe and soften here if the body will allow that. Another moment or two, another breath or two. Before lifting away and coming to an upright position. Bringing the hands on the floor behind you, feet up on the floor in front, and then join me if you'd like in lifting the hips. So you can decide how far you want to lift the hips. You can keep your chin tucked in, or you could drop the head back. Taking another moment or two to hold, and then slowly coming back to the floor and releasing down and crossing your legs, or you can have one leg extended or both legs extended or both legs slightly bent. You can choose what works best for you. And then interlacing your fingers and pressing the palms of the hands down and lifting the arms overhead. Nice long reach through the crown of the head and the palms. The spine gets really long here. And then exhaling and releasing the hands down and pausing for a moment. And then turning the palms out again and lifting the arms up overhead. Nice long reach. Breathing. And then exhaling, letting the arms come down. And exhaling, doing these conscious breaths helps to warm up the body. So pressing the palms down again, inhaling the arms up. Holding the breath in for a moment and then exhaling the breath out as you drop your head to look up at the hands. And all the breath out. Inhaling to center and exhaling, keeping the arms up, dropping the chin down. Exhaling and then inhaling the head up and then slowly exhaling the arms back to your lap. And one more time, let's press the arms out and up and hinging to one side a little bit. Coming back through center. Hinging to the other side. Coming back through center, and let's do one more to the right. And then back to center and one to the left. Beautiful. Coming back to center and then letting the arms come down to your knees and just take a pause for a moment. We're going to move from here to my kitchen. So bear with me as we move to the kitchen. And I've set it up differently than if you've been on this on the website and done other classes of mine. I've set it up a little differently. So those people who are not so familiar with this class can see exactly what we're doing here. Okay, so I use my kitchen sink, and I know there's a little bit of a glare from the light. Hopefully it won't be a problem. So I'm holding onto my kitchen at the sink, and I'm just gonna circle my hips, letting my body just drop away. Nice big circles. And then changing direction. Beautiful. Coming to a neutral position, and I'm going to end up turning to face you, but I'm just going to start out so that you can see the position for flat back. So the feet are hip width apart, and then the back is flat. And you're really drawing the tailbone away so that your arms are really nice and stretched. If you have the space between your counters to lift a leg, you can do that, but I'm going to turn sideways forward now, and just changing the music a little bit to lower it. So I'm in that flat back position, and then I'm going to lift the right leg up. So if you're holding on to your countertop, really reaching with the toes, nice long reach. And then the right leg's gonna come right up in front. So there's a bent knee, the right knee is bent, the back leg isn't stretched out. You're holding onto your counter at the sides or in front, and then sinking into the hips a little bit. And if you have the balance for both hands, you can bring them both away. Or you can use just one. I'm just going to back up a little bit. Wow, that's a big glare there. There we go. So, technical difficulties here. Okay, sinking into the hips, you're holding on or not. And then the hands come down, pressing off with the front foot and down with the back. We come into a flat back position again. Excuse the glare out the window. It's not sunny, but light is coming in for sure. And then extending the left leg back behind. Nice long reach so that you feel, as if someone is actually pulling on your leg a little bit. And then swinging the left leg forward, bending at the knee. As you can see, I can see it here, is my feet aren't right behind each other. So you always want to have a hip width apart, and that'll help you with your balance. And that's true on the floor too. And then if you have the ability, you can bring both arms up or keep one hand to your sink or your support. You can bring both up. I'm going to just move over a little bit so the glare goes away. Breathing, sinking in. Beautiful. Warrior one. Pressing off with the front foot down with the back. And then again, we're in the flat back position here. Breathing. Taking another moment or two here. And then lifting away and dropping the hips forward. So my heels come up a little bit, my arms are straight, and I'm lifting through the heart. Breathing. Taking another moment and then walking yourself forward and taking a pause. So if you have water next to you, you're welcome to take some water in now. So when you're ready, you can hold on to your surface. The closer you are to it, the more arch you have. So you can experiment. The left arm comes up overhead, and then we're reaching out. So I'm gonna just move a little bit so I don't have so much of a glare, but we still have it there. I apologize for that. So there's this big stretch through the outside of the body. The right arm is holding on, and we're breathing here. And then pulling ourselves in and coming back to center. And then you can turn sideways, the other way. And I have my back to you now. The right arm can lift and hinging out. And arching, the head is just relaxed. The fingertips of the right hand are really reaching. Again, another moment or two here. And then drawing yourself in and coming back to center and pausing for a moment. Just noticing how the body feels. Good. So, when you feel ready, you can turn to face your barre. Separate the feet out so that they're just about hip width, a little bit more. The toes are turned out. And then coming up onto the ball of the foot, hopefully you can see, coming up onto the ball of the foot, and then bending into the knees, and you get to decide how much you want to drop down. So bending into the knees, holding. I apologize for my dog barking. Pausing for a moment here, and then pressing all the way up. Heels are lifted, and releasing them down. And take a pause for a moment. And then when you're ready, coming up onto the ball of the foot, bending into the knees. Heels stay lifted. We're bending into the knees. Breathing here. Dropping the heels and press to standing. Bend into both knees. Lift the heels. We're holding here for a moment and then pressing all the way up. And pausing here. Bending into both knees. Dropping down as much as it feels right to you. Release the heels and press to standing. And then once again, bending into both knees. Lift the heels. This is the hard one. And then inhaling yourself up to center. Holding. Keeping the heels lifted. Heels are lifted, bending into the knees. Taking a moment. Release the heels and press to standing. Bending into both knees. Lift the heels. Lifting all the way up. Bending into both knees. Heels are lifted. Pausing here. Press all the way up. Keeping those heels lifted. Bending into both knees. Pausing. Releasing the heels and pressing up. And one more time. This challenging one. Bending into both knees. Lift the heels. Breathing and then pressing all the way up. Bending into both knees. Holding. Release the heels and press to center. And shaking those legs out. Pausing for a moment. We'll do something to open up the thighs in a minute, but we're going to do another series. So this time the feet are together. Knees are together. Thighs are drawn close to one another. Coming up onto the ball of the foot. Bending into both knees. Breathing here. Releasing the heels. and press to standing. Come up onto the ball of the foot, bend the knees, breathing, coming all the way up, and release the heels. Bend into both knees, lift the heels, holding, breathing, and inhaling all the way up, bending into both knees. Releasing the heels and pressing up. Really drawing your thighs together here one more time. We're going to do another series coming up onto the ball of the foot. Bending into the knees, keeping a nice straight back. Release the heels and press all the way up. Bending into the knees, lift the heels. All the way up. Stay up on the ball of the foot, bending into the knees. Press all the way up one more time. Taking another moment. We're going to bend one more time. Release the heels and press up. And then bend into the knees and lift the heels. Coming all the way up onto the ball of the foot. And then releasing down. And shaking the legs out. That's a hearty workout for our legs, for sure. So when you're ready to, you can keep one hand, your left hand, on your support and bend the right knee and bring the heel towards the buttocks. You can walk yourself out a little bit and hinging forward, drawing that back, the right leg, really drawing it up, and the heel drawing towards the buttocks. And you can decide how much you want to do this. Breathing. You get to determine how much you're going to pull your heel towards your buttocks. Good. And then coming to an upright position, crossing that right ankle over the left knee, and then bending into the left knee. And you might feel this in your hip. So you drop as much as it feels right to you. You get to determine how much sensation you're going to create in your body. And then slowly coming up and releasing. And that leg should feel nice and loose now. And then when you're ready, you can hold on to the pant leg too. If you can't get hold of your foot, hold on to the pant leg, bringing the heel in, and then you might have to hop back like I do, and then hinging, and really working to lift that left knee. Breathing. Beautiful. And then coming to an upright position, crossing the left ankle over the right knee, and then dropping down. And you get to decide how much you want to drop. And you probably are going to feel this mostly in the left hip. Taking another moment or two. And then coming to an upright position and shaking your legs out. And notice how you're feeling. Okay. So we're going to do some more leg work, stretching the leg and working the core. So you can use a chair next to you to support you if it feels better to you to have a chair here. Some folks I know can balance. So we're bringing the weight onto the left leg, reaching through the crown of the head, and then lifting the right knee so that it's in line with our surface. Or if you're using a chair, you can just place your foot right on top of the chair. So in the chair or the support in front of you, and then bending into that front knee. The hands can come. If you're on a chair, you're doing the same thing. You're just bending into the front knee. And your foot's on the chair. And maybe you're holding onto the chair. Or maybe you have a chair at your side. And now stretching that leg that's on the bar or on your sink or wherever you're practicing, stretching the leg out and dropping the head and chest down towards the leg. And taking a few moments to just breathe here. And then from here, we're going to keep the legs straight. We're going to draw the belly in, and we're going to lift the upper body, which requires core strength to do that. Lifting the upper body up overhead, and then we're going to hinge once again. Hinging forward over the outstretched leg. And the leg, as you can see, mine is not straight. You don't have to push it down. You don't want to push it down. You just find out where this stretch takes you, and then drawing the belly in and lifting once again, all the way up. And then if you need support, you can hold onto a chair at your side. Either way, or if you have your foot on a chair, you can maybe have another chair to your side, drawing the belly in and bringing the foot nice and slowly back to the floor. And then shaking out both legs, taking a moment. And then when you're ready, there's that glare again. I apologize for that. I hope it's not too distracting. You can put your hand on your chair if you're doing a support, bringing your weight onto your right leg. We're balancing for a moment. The knee comes in line with the surface. And then we bring it up onto the surface and bend into that front knee. Hands come to either side. And now we're in the stretching. You know, you can really see how much of a stretch this is for the body, you know, that particularly that supported leg. And then extending back, the hips extend back, dropping the head and chest towards the leg. And breathing. Upper body is just relaxed. If you want more of a stretch, you can press the crown of your head towards the toes. And now drawing the belly in, bringing the hands right away from your surface, and then hinging forward again. Nice control, dropping the head and chest towards the legs, breathing here. Again, you can press the crown of your head towards your toes and you'll get a little more stretch there. Taking another moment or two, drawing the belly in, and then lifting the arms all the way up overhead. Arms can come down to your sides or onto the chair. Draw the belly in. Left foot comes away from the surface and back to the floor. And shaking out both legs. And hope you're feeling good right now. So if you're new to this class, we do some pretty intense arm work. So you can stop whenever it feels right to you, or you can continue on. So we are going to do some push-ups first on our surface. So you can have your hands together, shoulder width apart, or outside the shoulders, so a little bit wider. And the shoulder blades run down the back, the head stays right in line with the rest of the body. And the farther away you are from your surface, the more weight you're lifting, okay? So you can, if you want to be closer, you're lifting less. If you want to be farther out, you're lifting more, okay? So when you're ready, we're going to start with 25, and then we'll take a break. So 1, 2, 3, 4, keep your head in line with the neck, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 5 more, 3, 2, and 1. And then we walk towards the surface, bend into the knees, and just stretch the arms out a little bit. And then when you're ready, coming all the way up, here you get to decide if you want to change the position of your hands to a different position than they were. This is a good time to do that as we do another 25. As I said earlier, if you're new to this, you might want to stop at some point, but we all have built up to this and it works well. Keeping those elbows in, upper body, that's 4. It's like a plank. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, you feel it now, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then once again, you can either drop your hips back or you can walk in and drop all the way down into a squat. And take a moment here. Beautiful. And coming back to center and shaking it out. Shaking those arms out. Okay. So we don't just do push-ups, but we do pull-ups. And normally we do them on the bar with our hands underneath. And if you have the kind of, I could probably do it here, but I'm going to do it over the top. You do it over the top. This time you're walking your body. The closer you are to your surface, the more weight you're picking, you're lifting, and then hinging out. The shoulder blades are down the back. The head and neck are right in line with one another. Elbows are in, and the arms are shoulder width apart, and that's the rig. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're halfway there. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and 30. And then you can stretch your arms out again. You'll notice that's a little bit easier than the push-ups. Awesome. And then coming to standing. All right. Hopefully everything feels really good right now. So we're going to do a balancing pose called the standing stick or warrior 3. And I think I did it on one of the last videos, but we'll do it again. So you can have, I can have my hands on both sides. You can have your hand on one. If you know balancing is difficult for you, you can keep your hand on one bar, on the sink or whatever surface you're using. So here, step forward with the right foot and lift the back heel. And then hinging to lift the foot, the back foot. And then the arms can come out and you can begin to hinge. So you might need, I'm going to need, because I'm looking at my audience here, but you want to look down. You want to find something on the floor that you can look down on, and you can bring your hands out and you can decide how much you want to hinge. Maybe you're just going to do a little bit of a forward movement, and wiggling and wobbling is fine. You can have one hand on a surface or one finger, and you'll find that that really helps. And you can, if you have your hand or you want to have your hand on the surface, you can really experiment with really lifting that back leg and bringing it right in parallel to the floor. And then you can maybe experiment with holding there. And then slowly bringing that foot in underneath you. Cut my head off there a little bit. And make sure that when you're doing this, you're breathing, okay? So when you're ready, you can step forward with the left foot. The right foot comes off the floor. You can put one finger on your surface and just lift the foot a little bit. If you have trouble with balance, and you know you do, you can keep your toes to the floor. But if you can have your hand on something so that you can get the sense of balance, bringing the arms out and then hinging. And there's wiggle and wobble. And you can experiment with really lifting that back foot or keeping yourself in a more upright position. And if you want to experiment with really lifting, bringing the hand, full hand to your surface and really lifting that back leg. And maybe then letting go and seeing what that feels like. And then slowly coming to an upright position. Shaking the legs out and taking a little bit of a pause here for a moment. Okay, so we've been doing the triangle pose on the bar too, and so we're going to do that again. So separate the feet about a leg length apart. If you have them too close together, it makes it more difficult. So feel free to really get a good separation from your feet. And then take the right leg and turn the foot slightly in. Sorry about my dog again. And then the left foot turns out. And if all goes well, the left heel is midpoint to the back foot. And once you've got your legs in position, turning the hips to face forward, the arms come to the horizon, and then the right hip is going to press out and away as you extend the left arm onto your surface. Right arm comes up, out of the shoulder. You can turn and look at the hand above, or you can look down at the foot, your choice. You could also experiment with bringing that right arm right alongside your head, and it just accentuates the stretch a little bit. It's fine. You can also bring that arm to your low back. If you have shoulder problems, feel free to use the low back, or even just bringing the hand down to the side. So your choice. Hold it another moment or two. And then pressing into both feet and lifting up and bringing the hands down and turning both feet forward and bringing them in underneath you for a moment. And then when you're ready, separating the feet out once more. As you can see, I have a little bit longer than leg length, but the longer my leg, farther my feet are apart, the easier this posture is for me. And then turning the left foot slightly in and the right foot towards your surface. The arms and the hips are facing forward. The arms come to the horizon, and then pressing out with that left hip, and we're just gliding that right arm along the surface as if we're reaching for something. Left arm comes up overhead, out of the shoulder. You can turn and look at that, or you can look down at the foot on the floor, your front foot. Feel free to experiment with bringing the arm right alongside the head, or you can bring it behind your back. We've got a bunch of choices there, so you can experiment with what works for you. And taking another moment, another pause, and then coming back to an upright position, turning the foot forward and bringing the feet underneath you. And taking a pause here. So we're going to do one more thing before we go back to our mats. It's a little more challenging when we're doing it on our sink, but it's still workable. So the farther your feet are back towards your surface, the more arch you have. We're bringing the hand over the sink, or if you're doing this on a railing, and then dropping the hips forward and lifting through the head and heart, feeling the shoulder blades drawing together. Taking another moment here. And then when you're ready, drawing the hips back and dropping through the crown of the head. The knees are soft to receive the upper body. We're just doing a counter stretch here, folding forward. And then gradually rolling up. And taking a pause, getting a drink of water if you'd like. And then when you're ready, you can make your way back to your mat. That's where I'm headed right now. So hopefully that's a good, got a good distance here. Yes, we do. Okay, so before we come down onto the mat, we're just going to do a couple of sun salutations before we do some of our core work. So when you're ready, come to the front of your mat. I'm just wondering, I think I'm going to just adjust slightly. There we go. It's okay if you don't see my head, you know I'm here. So coming to the front of the mat, feet are hip width apart. Hands can come together at your heart if that works for you. And then slowly sweeping the arms up. They come in a nice wide V, a little gentle arch, opening the front of the body. And then slowly hinging down. Fingertips come to either side of each foot, and a nice big step back with the left foot. We're coming into the runner stretch on this side. So you can see how one foot is not right behind the other. We're going to keep the left hand on the floor and lift your right arm and pivot toward the bent knee. Taking another moment here, and then bringing the hand back down. We're going to scoot the right foot back to meet the left, And we're coming into a high plank. So we're on the palms of our hands, our hips are in line with the rest of the body. And then the knees come to the floor, pressing back over your heels, letting your forehead drop to the surface if that works for you. Taking a couple of long, deep breaths. Feel them in your low back and waist. And then from here, lifting away from your heels, the hips are dropping forward. Taking another moment. And then turning the toes under and maybe bringing your knees away from the floor. And then as you inhale, lifting your hips, pressing down and away with the palms of the hands. There's a real driving the palms into the floor and reaching the heart towards the thighs into downward facing dog. So you can experiment with bringing your left foot between the hands. You're going to look for a place to bring it. Some people need to step it in a bunch of times. Some folks need to come right down onto their knees to bring it back up, and then bringing the right leg off the floor. Right hand stays on the floor as you pivot towards your bent knee. Good stretch here. Nice twist. Pausing, bringing the hand back down. And then when you're ready, pressing off with the back foot, down with the front. Bringing the legs in underneath you. And then rolling all the way up. Nice big arch again. And then bringing the hands together in front of you. And taking a pause for a moment as we sweep the arms back down, lifting up, arching back, and then hinging forward once again. This time we're stepping way back with the left foot, except we're coming into a little higher position. And if you can balance on your front foot and your back foot, bringing the arms up overhead. If that's difficult for you, you can place your heel down on the floor, and that provides a little bit more balance. You can have your hands on the knee if that works better for you. And breathing. Nice high, what we did earlier, warrior one. Hands come down to the floor, scooting that left foot back to meet the right. We're in a high plank here. Pausing for a moment. Knees come to the floor, feet soften. Pressing back over the heels. Nice big reach, forehead to the floor if that works. Making sure that you're getting some deep breaths in, lifting away from the heels, dropping the hips forward, and then coming into upward facing dog by turning the toes underneath, pausing here, and then inhaling the hips into down dog. We're pressing and driving those hands down. Heart reaches towards the thighs. And then you can either come down onto your knees, or you can begin to work with stepping that left foot forward. We're in the runner stretch on this side, and we're going to lift all the way up. You can put that foot down, the back foot down, if that works better for you. Bringing the hands overhead into warrior. If you have shoulder issues, you can also just place the hands on your back or on the knee. And then bringing the hands back to either side of your mat, pressing off with the back foot down with the front, and then slowly rolling up. One more time. We're rolling up, arching back, and then bringing the hands together in front of us. And taking a pause for a moment. So when you're ready, you can come down onto your mat. We're going to prepare for 2 core strengthening exercises. So I'm going to turn my mat to the side so that you can see But you all know, those of you who have been in my class know how to do this. So when you're ready, you can come down onto your mat. The hands can be in front, hip, shoulder width apart. Sure you're pressing down into your hands and then turning the toes up under and bringing yourself into a plank position. You'll notice that my rear end is in the same position as the rest of my spine. And we're doing 30 here, 30 seconds. So pausing and breathing, pressing into the whole hand and forearm. 15 more. Drawing the belly in, tucking it close to the spine. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring yourself down onto the floor, turn your head to one side. And flopping the legs for a moment. And extending out, bringing yourself back up onto your mat. And then when you're ready, lifting up and another 30. So pausing and using the whole arm and making sure you're breathing, drawing the belly in towards your spine. And let's do 10 more. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and releasing down. Whew. I just broke a sweat. And flopping from side to side. Beautiful. And then when you feel ready, rolling onto your back. And taking a pause here for a moment. And we're going to do a few more belly warm-ups, and then we will complete, and you will be able to be in relaxation form of relaxation posture. So when you're ready, bringing your legs up so that they're at a right angle, calves are parallel to the floor. And then bringing the arms overhead. So as we hold the belly in towards the spine, we're going to extend the left leg and bring the right arm down. And then switch sides, nice and slow. Very simple. Really works the core well. Make sure you're breathing. I haven't started to count yet. I don't know how many we're going to do, but you can do as many as it feels right to you. Feel free to stop at any point that you need to. Switching arm to leg. Drawing that belly in. That's the most important thing, really having that belly drawn towards the spine. So all of those ab muscles are engaged. And let's do 10 more. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 5, 4, I've lost count here, 3, 2, and 1 more on each side. 1 and 1. And then bringing both knees in, rounding the legs towards you and maybe rocking a little bit over your low back. Maybe circling the knees if that works well for you. Changing direction. And then when you feel ready, bringing the arms down to shoulder height, knee at shoulder level, knees are close, and then dropping both knees to the right. And feeling the stretch here to the right. You could turn your head to the left if you'd like to, and that just brings the twist all the way up to the neck. And taking a deep breath in, maybe you're feeling this in your rib cage and low back. Another moment or two here. And then when you feel ready, bringing the legs back up and then dropping them the other way and turning your head. And breathing. And then bringing the legs back to center. And maybe taking hold of the feet from between the legs and letting the knees drop out to either side. And the inner thigh open. And then bringing the hands to the insides of the feet, turning the feet up towards the ceiling, and then using your arms to just put a little gentle pressure on the bottoms of your feet to draw the knees down towards the floor. And happy baby. And then when you feel ready, you can bring your feet to the floor. You can drop your knees in towards one another and see if there's anything else that your body would like in terms of movement. If you are complete, you can find a comfortable position. Even though you're at your home, I really encourage you to do some Shavasana just to integrate everything we've done. So coming down onto your backs and being in a comfortable, relaxed position. You can be on your side or you can be sitting. Whatever works for you. And as you come into relaxation, I am going to just send you my heartfelt blessings. I hope that this finds you well and healthy, and that your family is well and healthy. I miss you all very, very much. This platform is wonderful. I'm glad that there's a way that we can practice together, but I do miss your live and in-person energy and faces, and I hope that everybody is well. And I will be giving a video to Rachel at Berkshire Yoga Dance and Fitness every Wednesday and Friday. I missed one last week, but because I had technical difficulties, but hopefully we'll get back on track and that you can see a new video every Wednesday and Friday. Blessings to you all. Namaste.